brothers and sisters. It's the top of the... It's early in the morning. Yes, it is. And I'm here to tell you about this book I read. Okay? Now, this book I read, it was about an experiment on humankind. Okay? And what did they do? Well, they experimented and they went as far as they could in order to bring humanity down to its knees, okay? Now, in this book, you have to understand that this book came out, I believe it was in 2007. And this is what happened in it. So, a very similar situation to what's going on right now, okay? It was very similar to this, I'm not gonna lie. And in the book, the government, they tried to push the limits of the people. And they tried to hold the people to, like, hostage, basically, okay? Now, they couldn't put in martial law because, you see, they were concerned, these people. And the reason why they couldn't put in martial law is because they realized the people aren't that stupid. They're not stupid at all. So what happened was, later on, it just kept going and going. They just kept fucking with the people until the people finally realized what was going on. Now, when people started really realizing what's going on, the intel started working against them. And in the book there was a president, and the president, he was on the strings. He was being controlled, and he didn't even realize that the whole joke was against him. So it was never brought to his attention that the joke was on him in this book. So they kept trying to it was an experiment, basically, on the population. That's what it was. It was plain and simple. That's what it was. It was an experiment on the population. So they wanted to see how far they could take it. So the population was like, okay, let's see how long they can do this for. Let's let them try. Well, so in the end, there was this beautiful, massive awakening, this huge paradigm shift, and where people came out to the streets and began hugging each other. They didn't make a movie about this book, but the way I saw it is like they literally came out to the streets crying, hugging one another, realizing that they've been being played this whole time. So the book, I used to read books a lot, and there was another book also that tried to turn people against each other, but they were just aliens that weren't aliens, they were actually people. It's my clairvoyance. And so the intel was used against the, it wasn't really a government, it was more of like what they thought was a stronghold that they thought they could keep under wraps. And then they started getting a little scared, because they realized that, well, there's one big fucking ant colony. And the ant colony, if you've ever seen the movie, I always refer to movies. Have you ever seen the movie Ants? Okay? And then these big cicadas, I fucking can't stand cicadas. Whatever. It's not the point. I just can't stand the sound. They go, these bitches are annoying as fuck. So they would come and they would raid the ants for, oh yeah, so they did put it in a movie, but kind of in a different way. So they would come and they would raid the ants, and they would take all the ants' food. And finally, one day, the ants said, enough is enough. We're not going to let you take our fucking food. We're not going to let you take anything from us anymore. And then guess what happened? Oh yeah, there was a whole circus with them too, and it was called, it was A Bug's Life, not the Ants. There was two movies, Ants and A Bug's Life. It was A Bug's Life, okay? Now, in the movie A Bug's Life, check it out if you haven't seen it. So the cicadas kept coming to the ants and stealing their food and and everything that they produced. And they kept saying to themselves, if the public figures out what's going on, we're in trouble. Not the public, the ants. If the ants figure out what's going on, we're in big fucking trouble. And he showed it like this. He showed this big pile of whatever the fuck they're eating. I don't remember what it was. And there was one of the people talking back to the head cicada. And he's like, do you realize what happens if the ants find out what's going on? He goes, this is what happens. And he flipped the top of the thing, and the cicada got buried with nuts. Yeah, man, this is in a movie. That is a good movie. A Bug's Life. Check it out. So it was more of an experiment that went wrong on the bugs. I mean, the cicadas. Okay? And the ants took over, and they decided, we're not going to take this anymore. And they stood up for each other, which was the most beautiful thing. And I had this dream last night, okay? I saw in the sky, in my dream, cracks. All of a sudden, the sky started cracking. And there's like little cracks going through it. And it wasn't a long dream, but I remember the song by Flux Pavilion saying, and the cracks begin to show, which is a good song by Flux Pavilion. Check it out. And the cracks begin to show. So in the sky, there was cracks everywhere, right? And all of a sudden, the sky started falling, right? It was a beautiful day, but there were clouds, little patches of clouds, and and there was a beautiful. That's it, actually. My dream ended there, to be honest with you. But there was cracks, and then that song started playing in my head. Cracks begin to show. The cracks begin to show. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you have to understand that this book and these movies they're meant to teach you something. Teach you what's going on in life, because not a lot of people are even aware of what's going on. So that's the reason why we need to enlighten them as a society and bring people together. But the most beautiful thing, beyond the fact that the cracks began to show, is that everybody in the end came out and they were crying and giving each other hugs because they acknowledged what was going on. Finally, everybody was able to understand what was going on. They were being played by the fucking cicadas. And I don't like cicadas, dude. It's not that I don't like them, I just don't like the sounds they make in the summer here. They drive me fucking crazy. Shit drives me nuts, dude. Anyways, with that said, that's just a book I read. And if you have not seen A Bug's Life, check it out. That said, peace be with you, also with you. The truth is gonna all come to light. It is, and they know it. And they know it. Because we know that we are stronger together than we would be divided.